Now, everyone loves Piston Cup racers, right? And everyone takes them extremely seriously. You gotta know all the names, know all the variants, all the numbers that apply to the sponsors. Make sure you know the veterans that carried over the Cars 3. And so, those expectations, the bar is set very high for Mattel. And now that they've switched over from China production to Thailand, they've started doing all the Piston Cup racers again. And while a lot of people don't really like them because the sponsors, the decals are kind of blurry, we want them all to be completed, right? I mean, it's just kind of human nature. And there's only a few left for Mattel to do from Thailand, being Ernie Gearson for Spearmint, Eugene Carbureski for Tanko, Ryan Shields for Viewscene, not metallic, and if you're getting really squirrely, Dale Earnhardt Jr., which will never come out, and probably never Mac Icar. So the question arises, Mattel, why are you repeating so many of these year in and year out when there are still a few left on the table that you have untapped potential with? Oh man, see, it doesn't bother me as much as like the avid Piston Cup diehards. I know you guys are out there. But either way, here we are today with Kevin Racingtire, the Shifty Drug Cars 1 racer, and the only Shifty Drug racer canon to the movies. Of course, you do have William Byrev, the NASCAR racer. I don't even have him out here. I don't like him, guys. No secret. I don't really like him. But if you want to consider him canon, fine. He is a part of the NASCAR Mattel collaboration. I have my preferred custom next gen over there. But Shifty Drug is one of the sponsors that Pixar and Disney chopped out of Cars 3 to make way for, I don't know, Synergy or Carbon Cyber, whichever they necessarily chose to replace it for. But yeah, guys, I never reviewed the Thailand version of Kevin Racingtire when he was released in late 2019. I was really frambombal during that time. I was starting my first year in college. It was the first time Blue Desert came about. It was also when Mattel canceled Fiber Fuel Chief, Taco Mint Chief, Combustor Tractor, Tanko Tractor, No Stall Tractor, and I can go on and on and on. So it was a really wild time, and I never got around to reviewing him, but here we are. In fact, I didn't review Thailand variants until James Clean Air of 2020 anyways. So it's a perfect time now that he's being released for 2024 again. And yeah, he's going to be in a lot of cases along with his buddy, Kevin Shiftwright, who I always get mixed up with, but he's the Clutch Aid racer, the Battle of the Kevins. I don't know why they named two racers Kevin, but that's a story for another day. Man, this is a long intro, guys. I'm sorry. We got to get into it, but I really do like Kevin Racingtire. It's a nice color scheme that you don't see on racers that much, pink and yellow. There's a lot of blue, purple, and green, so I like seeing this. It's very refreshing and disappointing that they got rid of him, of course, in Cars 3, or the sponsor, rather. Now, right off the bat, you can see that his wheels are supposed to have some pink trim. They just went for all white, and also, there's been a major color debate about him ever since his inception. Of course, up until 2015, Mattel did him red and yellow, as you could blatantly see here, doesn't match whatsoever. The 2016 release is better. It's a much more pinker version, but it still isn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Like, it's way better than this, but it's still not the pink that we see here on the car there. Of course, you have the hauler over here, which is pretty accurate. And now here's the Thailand version, which kind of looks like a mix of both. Like, I don't know, the eyes look pinker than his body. So we're going to have to take a look and check that out. This is new packaging, of course, even though it is not a new variant. On the back here, you have some other 2024 Cars 1 releases, being regular Cars 1 Lightning McQueen. Todd the Pizza Planet truck back again for some more fun after being introduced in the final case of 2023 singles. You have Mater with the working tow hook there. You have Sheriff, Sally, and the retread racer Hall Ingas, another one that's been released many times now from Thailand. This is his third time. He was released in late 2019 like Kevin was initially, and then 2022 back for 2024. So we're tripling up on him, we're doubling up on Kevin, and yet, like we talked about, some of them still have not gotten their first go in Thailand. I don't like that, but I know there's a lot of people who dislike it more than I do, those Piston Cup diehards out there. Make it known, guys, in the comments. The only way we're ever going to get those, we got to remind Mattel that they're out there. I mean, Eugene Carbureski is one of the most desired Piston Cup racers of all time. He's like Kevin Racingtire's rival. They're the pink racers, right? Who's going to win out in the end? I think it's going to be Eugene. At least right now, Eugene is just so much more coveted. Now, before we bust him open, I want to read you guys his bio out of the Meet the Cars book. We don't do this too often, but I think it's pretty cool. It's also cool seeing like they're more preliminary. They're more primitive. Actually, primitive is the word. Preliminal and primitive mixed together is preliminal artwork, because he doesn't have the Lightyear text on his tires and it's just not as crisp. It's more of a softer image with almost all the Meet the Cars stuff, but you can see Billy Oil Changer has a more advanced design than there. Anyways, his vehicle type is Capital Motors. With little natural athletic ability and knowledge of racing's rich history or understanding of its complex rules, it's a wonder Kevin Racingtire has been able to last in the Piston Cup circuit for as long as he has. He says his success is because of his family, particularly his father-in-law, who's the owner of the large pharmaceutical company that just so happens to sponsor the team for which he races. That's so funny, actually. So he's married to the daughter of the owner of Shifty Drug. You know, that is so cool. That is literally, I mean, it's not great for him. They're basically saying he's a bad racer, but he gets to race in the league because his, dad-in-law is the owner of the sponsor, right? And that happens a lot. I mean, if you guys know, the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, his dad is the founder of FedEx. And I know there's not a direct connection there, but, that type of stuff talks, that money talks. And I love that they included that in there. Something that'll go over a lot of people's heads, but that is just so realistic to what actually goes on in the real world. But it's time to rip this guy open. Here he is out of the package, and man, this guy's eye plate is just so obvious. Some of the Piston Cup racers do a lot better job of hiding it. Like we just reviewed Sage Vanderspin not too long ago, and the eye plate blends in with the body pretty well, but here it's just the eye plate seems sunken in more, so this black line, the ridge right there, is really profound and sticks out a bunch. I don't love that. I'm going to try and find an image of Kevin. I think I have one or two to put on the screen there to show you guys how he looks in the film. Of course, just a background racer, doesn't speak, but gets beat up. I'll tell you that. He gets beat up in the crash. And yeah, let's just dive right on in here, guys. Now, this Kevin over here is from the Motor Speedway of the South set. Only 1,000 of this Kevin exist. Super nice paint. Unfortunately, the zinc pest has not gotten to this one yet. Hopefully never. But you guys know, oh my God, I am just so clumsy. You guys see that? Anyways. Yeah, the eye plate doesn't look good on him at all. It's just super obvious that that's a separate plastic piece and not a part of the main metal body. And I would still contend that the paint they used on the plastic eye plate is pinker than the rest of the body here. I don't know what you guys think. But yeah, you do have the yellow hood with the Shifty Drug logo. We've come to expect that it's going to be blurrier and not as clean as the Chinese version. However, it's centered. The logo actually on the Chinese version is not centered. It's way closer to the left side than it is the right side. So there is a crack in the paint right there, actually. That kind of stinks. Zinc pest. But yeah, he is pinker. I'm not sure if he's quite as pink as the Chinese variant, which we'll get to in a moment here. But yeah, you do have the white wheels, and they look way better on the Chinese version, just a pure white here. Like we talked about with Thailand every single time. It just is blurry. It's grainy in there. It doesn't look solid. It's like the opacity is only 70%, especially on the sides there. Man, they really struggle with the wheels, and they always have. You have the 35 there on the roof with the roof flaps. Isn't there? There's like a weird purple kind of glow or outline to the roof flaps. That looks super strange. But yeah, pretty similar to what we're used to. Just the decal is a little smaller and not quite as clear. Here we go with the contingency sponsors. They don't look quite as bad as I was expecting. The Radiator Springs McQueen Thailand variant, which you will see on the channel soon, is really bad. It's worse than this, and there's only 4 or 5 of them. Here you have like 15, and now obviously not great, and they are nothing compared to the Chinese version, which is really clear, really crystal clear. Really did a great job back in the day. And we took it for granted. We really definitely took it for granted. You do have the Shifty Drug logo there with the gas cap in the center of it. Before, the gas cap is there, but it is super faint compared to on the Thailand version. Shifty Drug, blurry logo. Super blurry logo. The smaller it gets, the worse it gets. Man, it really stinks. Maybe this guy's a rookie because he does have a yellow bumper. Technically could qualify as one. The base, S30A, 30th week of 2023 at the A factories when this guy was made. Pretty sure Radiator Springs McQueen. I already did that video even though I don't believe I've released it yet. Has the same code. But yeah, so that's the comparison with your Motor Speedway of the South red Chinese variant. Now let's take a close look with the pinker 2015 Chinese variant. And like I kind of predicted, it is pinker than this variant. And so it makes this version like a hybrid of both Chinese versions that we got in terms of the color shade. And that's disappointing. That's the wrong way. We need to go more over here. We need to go pinker. We can't go back to the red. So definitely a blunder on Mattel's part there. Really disappointing with this car, man. Oh, I feel like, and like I said, I already did the Radiator Springs McQueen version or review. I did not like it, man. Oh, there's a few good things about it. There are some good things, absolutely. But I do kind of sound like a Karen in that video, but I feel justified. Like, I feel like everything I say, like, has a lot of foundation in facts, but I hate complaining so much. Anyways, I do like, this is the best version, this 2015 version, because it's, first off, you got the flat eyelids, which, I mean, the raised eyelids, which you had on a lot of the racers pre-2015, and I think a few flat eyelids or flat windshielders made it into 2014, but you could see how the white space is lower than the eyelids themselves, and that was a cool feature, but they did move to these flat ones, and that was the variant, that was the fad back then, and now it's, of course, Thailand. They never got to the point nearly of completing all the flat eyelid cars or the flat windshielders, but it just looks cleaner on him for sure. I like it. It emphasizes the new color that is the pink. And yeah, he just looks way more accurate. The wheels look great and the decals are still super clear and all that. The paint's not quite as glossy because it's not a Motor Speedway of the South version. But yeah, I mean, the best version you're going to get and the most accurate. And I think that's what you always need to defer to at the end of the day is the most accurate. The glossy paint's nice for sure, but having the most accurate color here is nicer. And yeah, look how much bigger that Shifty Drug logo is, and it's clear. They can't even make it clear when it's half the size. And if you guys don't know, like if you're making graphics and working with images, files on a computer, the smaller the image is, the better quality it should be. Not only because it's harder to see all the details of that logo, you can't like see all the pixels spread out in that logo, but there's just everything's compressed, right? So there's less room for there to be a glaring mistake or for, you know, your eye to catch the blurriness. Like smaller the better, right? That's why if you see something pop up on my screen during a video, like a picture of a packaged car, if it's not a great file, I make that smaller. So you can't tell that it's a blurry or a bad image. And if it is a better image, I make it bigger, you know? It's simple, right? And they made this thing super small, smaller than it's been before, and it still looks awful. Guys, I hate being this way, but it's just the reality of the situation. I haven't even talked about the front axles that are missized. I mean, it's too long. As you can see here, this is not even the worst of them all, but you can see how the tires dangle outside of the body of the car like that. I mean, that's not how it should be. And you get some of these racers where it's the opposite, like on the Greg Candymans of the world or the Vinyl Toupe, the Crusty Roaders. They have shorter axles. Like here we go with Misty Motorcrass. I'm going to sneeze. Sorry, guys. Yeah, this is just getting up into my nose, I guess. But you can see here on these, the axle's too small. So they always have something going on. I'm not sure if they use the same axle. I don't think they do because I don't think so. They just have a short one and a long one, and they apply them to the wrong cars. I don't understand that. Maybe there's some technical reason about it, but it doesn't make much sense to me. And another difference is that you have these fully opaque gray windows versus the semi-translucent ones before. You're just looking at interior pieces. That's why it's so dark in there. But otherwise, you could technically see through it if there wasn't an interior piece. But actually, yeah, I mean, the windows are the interior pieces themselves, if you know what I'm saying. Now they are just fully like blacked out, clouded windows. So yeah, that is the comparison for the 3 variants of Kevin Shiftright Racing Tire. I probably said Shiftright multiple times through the video, but just know, you guys know who I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't think he's a very good variant. They've done better Piston Cup Thailand variants. I think Johnny Blamer was pretty good. I do like Misty Motorcrass. Her expression is very nice, even though, like we talked about, the axles are way too small. I mean, just look at how bad that looks. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of these where they kind of disguise the eye plate a little bit better. And this one here, Ruby Easy Oaks, is okay. Definitely not one of the best. I think Sage Vanderspin is one of the best in terms of expressions. You have Darren Leadfoot here. He's also not bad, but I think his green's a little too dark. I think another one of the better ones is Rusty Cornfuel here, who's also just been released in 2024 in the same case. So I might review him, or I guess I probably already did if I have this one loose. I don't know. How did I get this one loose? I probably opened him up. Maybe on the live stream it was. But yeah, guys, that is pretty much all I have. I do want to bring in the whole Shifty Drug team. I did bring out William Byrev, even though I don't like him at all, man. He is so dark. It's like, Mattel was like, because they did design the graphics for these next gens here, the NASCARs. They were like, we can't get the color right with Shifty Drug, so we're just going to make them like super dark maroon, ugly. And yeah, they were like, we're just throwing in the towel on the colors with that. So yeah, there you have William Byrev. Here you have my Jim Scavenger Thomas Hatfield Custom, which is just beautiful. Nice shiny pink, nice new modernized logo versus this. They just took the same logo and omitted the oval. So yeah, I mean, I know I've been complaining a lot lately. You guys know I still love cars. This hauler is awesome. That's actually the accurate color or close to it. That's honestly the best color that you get on a Shifty Drug team member, because it's even better, I think, than the 2015 version. Here you have a factory custom pickup truck. Now it is red because it was based on the first version of Shifty Drug, so you can't really knock him for that. But man, he is a blatant red. It's not like, oh, maybe it's pink. No, I mean, he is straight up red. And then there's your Motor Speedway, the South version, and here is the new Thailand version. Let's focus up, Buttercup. And yeah, guys, thank you as always for watching and for your support. Another kind of what the hell Mattel variation, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, it's a nice add to the collection, and we're one step closer. I guess we were back in 2019 when this one was released, but hopefully they'll eventually get to the point where all of them have been done from Thailand, and then they'll do the Cars 3 stock cars as well. So thanks, guys. Bye now.